Hello, I'm Matt, one of the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, I'm at least like top 50 greatest DC20 YouTubers. Okay, I think that's the end of that running gag, but I'm doing a homebrew wheel again, because making homebrew is just fun. But this time, it has to be vaguely Christmas themed. Also, I probably will mainly stick to scripted stuff, but it's nice doing this every once in a while too. But anyway, I will now spin the wheel to decide what I make. Okay, this is a scary one. I don't know what other means, because it's either going to be a spell, a maneuver, or a monster. I don't think I'm going to roll for that. I think I'll just decide, or it could be a magic item, I guess. But with spells and maneuvers, I haven't seen them all, of course. I've only seen 2 spells at the moment, although by the time you're watching this, a few more have probably been revealed. A maneuver is also just a handful, so that will be kind of tough. And for monsters, I could do it. It just seems hard. And for a magic item, I could do that. I think the magazine I have might be outdated though. Like, didn't the magic item magazine get updated when the Artificer released? Or maybe it didn't. I don't know. I think I have an old version of that magazine though. I might be wrong. Also, I think I'm gonna do 3 homebrews, so I might as well just spin for the other 2 now. Ancestry trait. Okay, now for the actual ancestry. Honestly, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but that kind of feels like the easiest one I could have gotten. I could do like a snow angel thing. I could get biblical, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Now the third one. Okay, yeah, okay, I don't know if I want to do another one of these. Okay, actually, I'm re-rolling. I'm cheating. I already did one other. Okay, I should have just removed it from the wheel. Okay, never mind. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Subclass. Okay, now that I've cheated, here's the subclass wheel. All the classes are here besides Druid because I'm afraid. Okay. I feel like the easy route is just like, it's a snow sorcerer, but I don't think I want to do that. My second thought is like Beastborn. It's the reindeer-born sorcerer, but that feels too specific. I don't know. Well, I'll cut away now and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I've been thinking of what I want to do for the first homebrew. And I think a monster could be cool, but I'm leaning towards making a spell. I definitely lack information on spells right now, so it's basically guaranteed to be outdated or just wrong in some way. But I do think making a spell is going to be more fun. But here in my notes, just wrote down random Christmas stuff I was thinking of. I accidentally thought of a Pokemon here when I was thinking of what monster I want to make. A living icicle that falls on you, that could have been a cool monster. There's something there, but I'm not making that right now. I was thinking about a chimney spell, and I think that's a cool idea, but now I probably shouldn't have done this, but I looked up online to see if anyone had made that before, and immediately I saw some 5e homebrew, which was just that exactly. Now that shouldn't stop me necessarily, since I did think of it independently, but I'm probably not going to do it now. Actually, okay, I might do the chimney. I don't know. If I do that, I am ripping off Santa Claus, not any person specifically. So I can do that. Maybe. But yeah, I'll cut away and you'll see what I came up with. Okay, I decided I'm gonna rip off Tim Allen. So I've made decent progress so far. The wording is rough, partially because I lack knowledge, partially just because I'm still working on it. But yeah, lower your standards for now. Also, I will read all this later, like when it's finished. I just don't want to read it now because I just be repeating myself pretty much. But I will read it because I got a comment last time. I'll put it on screen. So thank you for commenting. And at least this time I will read it out loud. But basically just you make a chimney, you can climb through it. There's a fireplace at the bottom of the chimney. You can choose whether the top of the chimney is created at the point of origin of the spell or if the fireplace is. Funny answers I'm probably going to do is one that increases the chimney size. I don't know what to word that. Cold resistance I probably will do just because that's what fireplaces do. It is more of a chimney spell than a fireplace spell. But a fireplace is part of the chimney. But hopefully this spell really makes you feel like Tim Allen. Okay, I've been working on the second homebrew some. I thought about a lot of different ideas, but I think the one I like the most, which I think I'm gonna go with, is just giving your allies advantage against frightened or intimidated. It's not like explicitly Christmassy, but I did get to this by thinking about Christmas stuff relating to angels. So, I mean, it works. And I think it works in the context of DC20 too. Because Fiendborn have Infernal Bravery and Intimidator. a trait to resist being intimidated, and a trait to intimidate. But in the case of Angelborn, this is a trait where they can help their allies not be intimidated. I have two versions of Be Not Afraid, as you can see. Other one, just AoE advantage buff for other creatures. But I think I'm gonna go with the second one. I kinda like it being something that you choose to do, instead of just being a passive. Also, I have Frightened, but I don't have Terrified. I left out Terrified just because I feel like it could be too strong, and I feel like with a name like Be Not Afraid, I kind of had to have some sort of frightened advantage, but Terrified I feel like I didn't have to have. Also, I did make some slight more progress on Spell. Nothing too crazy, but I have been thinking about it some. Still needs work, of course. And I also did write some stuff for the Sorcerer subclass. The one I kind of like the most is a Santa Claus Sorcerer. You're a descendant of a powerful spellcaster, and that spellcaster was like Santa Claus, but maybe not specifically. I don't know. I don't want to actually use the word Santa Claus necessarily, because I don't think he's going to exist in DC20 lore. I might be wrong, though. I don't know. There could be a magazine that has Santa Claus stuff next year. Other ideas? Like, I don't know. Yeti, Jack Frost thing, Witch but Snow. Probably not. I looked up creatures associated with Christmas, like characters associated with Christmas, and there weren't really that many that I feel like I could do. Like maybe Krampus. Krampus feels a little more fitting than Santa Claus to me, like at base. Like I feel like I can say the word Krampus without it feeling as weird. But I feel like saying Santa like wouldn't be a thing that DC20 would do, but I could imagine them having a Krampus monster kind of. So, although they probably wouldn't. Anyway, I've been thinking I might do Santa Claus Sorcerer, I might think of something else. I feel like a winter or snow sorcerer type of thing feels cool. It feels cool, teehee, but I made that same joke before. Well, it's not even a joke, I just say the same thing again and then teehee. Okay, whatever. Mechanically, it'd probably be boring, because I already know, like, some features that would have to have. You deal more cold damage, or you have a cold damage spell, you're resistant to cold. I feel like it would kind of write itself and not be too interesting. We'll see what I do. Okay, I've been working on the Sorcerer a bit, and I have no clue what I'm doing. I've been thinking about the Santa Claus Sorcerer, but I don't know what they would do mechanically. Maybe I could tie it to the Chimney spell, but I don't know what it would be beyond that. Toy making stuff would probably feel like more of an artificer type of thing. I think the Santa Sorcerer has potential, but I don't know where to go with it. So I did reconsider just having an Ice Sorcerer, but if there's going to be a Sorcerer based around a single element, I feel like it should probably just be an Elemental Sorcerer with options. Kind of like the Elemental Fury, or probably like Elementalist class. But that wouldn't be winter themed. So now I'm thinking a Sorcerer themed around winter as a whole could maybe work. There might be something here. I'm gonna keep writing it and see if something interesting happens. So, this is kind of a complete mess right now. I've been thinking about the spell a lot, and I think for the most part I know what direction I'm taking it. But there are a lot of small details I have to reconsider. For the source, I think Arcane and Primal both make sense, and I can do both. With the Chimney's Fire, I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be a spell enhancement or not. I kind of like the idea that you can just ignore it if you want, and just have it be like an optional thing you choose as a spell enhancement. But after thinking about it more, I don't think I like this idea, because I don't like the thought that, like, let's say you're on a heist. You had to break into the bank or something. So you like go to the roof of the bank, you cast the Chimney spell, you descend down, then you like get the money, escape, but as you're escaping, guards show up and they chase you up the chimney. And you're like, hey, GM, I would like to ignite the chimney so the guards burn. I think that's cool. But if it's a spell enhancement, then it's like an awkward situation where you just can't do that, or I have to say a specific thing where it's like, you can use the spell enhancement later. Like, I don't know, I like the idea of being flexible with it, where you can just use it when you need it. So I feel like a spell enhancement probably isn't the best idea after thinking about it more. But I did consider it for a little bit. I even like wrote it out as a spell enhancement, but then I was like, nah. Also, this spell is kind of on the edge of becoming a jack of all trades type of thing. As of recording this, the Wall of Force spell was shown off, and I decided to use some of that wording for the Chimney. So this is kind of a wall spell now, but I think that is probably for the best, because realistically, you should be able to break the Chimney. But it does do a lot now, kind of. But also, it is kind of niche. I think it's in a fine position, but it is definitely becoming a bit more broad. Also, with the Light to the Fire, I realized that it being a radius didn't make much sense, because that implied that it was like all around it, even though logically the light should only come out of the entrance of the fireplace. So now I changed it to what it is now, where it's a cone. I'm making a lot of small adjustments, but I think it's turning out well. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I feel like I'm at the part of the homebrew process where I'm going slightly insane. It's still fun, but I feel like I'm getting a bit lost. This is way more complex than I thought it'd be, and this is taking way longer than I thought to. Earlier, I thought about taking a note whenever I make a change so that I could explain my thought process, but man, I've changed like 10 things, and I unchanged them because they didn't work. I really have been all over the place. I guess if you want to see my thought process, then you can just read my random gibberish notes. Decipher those if you want. There are definitely some changes I still want to make, but I am getting close to being done. Mostly just small details now, I will say. Although there are some things where I'm thinking like, okay, do I want to make this even more complicated? Like something I keep thinking about is if I should specify that entering the fireplace does not cost additional movement. I don't think I'm going to specify that because I feel like that'll just confuse people even more, but I feel like logically you would have to like crouch down or like go prone to enter a fireplace, and that's not my intent. And I'm also thinking like, should I specify that you have to enter the fireplace from the entrance? And it's like, I probably don't need to specify that, but I'm trusting y'all to know what like a stereotypical fireplace and chimney looks like. I mean, you can flavor it to look however you want, but like it is roughly what it is. I'm definitely overthinking the spell a bit. Also, it's gonna become outdated basically instantly anyway. Like the same day I'll realize, oh, I should have included the climbing spell tag. I should have reworded this to be consistent with that spell. So I can't get too lost in it. And it's not like I actually expect people to use this homebrew anyway, so I shouldn't think about it too much, but I still want to do the best I can. But anyway, the other thing I've been working on, the winter sorcerer. So my issue with this is that I'm just trying really hard to not make an elemental sorcerer. Like, I want to make an elemental sorcerer, but I'm just stopping myself from doing that. There are other ideas, like, maybe I should try to see if I can make a Krampus sorcerer, but man, I don't vibe with it. The vibes say no. So I've decided that I'm just gonna make an elemental sorcerer. Now you're probably thinking, that's not Christmas. That's not winter. What are you doing? But I have a solution. Okay, it is Christmas themed because, okay, this doesn't have artwork obviously because it's just a homebrew I'm making. But if it did have artwork, okay, imagine that it's like an elf. It's like a half elf, half halfling. It looks kind of like a Santa elf. And he's like wearing green. And he has like ice powers. Because he's like an elemental sorcerer that chose ice or cold. Okay, imagine that. Boom. It's now Christmas themed. I solved it. You cannot say that isn't Christmas themed. Also, I cheated with the wheel with this one anyway where I re-rolled it. So I cheated anyway. It works. I probably could have made some other idea work. Like the winter one. Maybe if I played with weird aspects of winter or something, I could have made something unique. But I want to make elemental sorcerer. So I'm now gonna go make a masterpiece. Okay, I locked in and I got done enough. All of these are done, but the thing is that if I sat on it for a few days, I'm sure I would notice something that I want to change. Like, oh, I should have specified this or done this differently. You know, that kind of thing. I think it's all in a fine enough state. I don't want to, like, agonize over the polishing of it too much, since I gotta get this up by Christmas anyway. So now I'll read the homebrew and then explain some things. Create Fireplace / Chimney. Source, Arcane, Primal. School, Conjuration. Tags, Burning, Fire, Ward. Cost, 2 AP, plus 1 MP. Range, 5 spaces. Duration, 10 minutes. Sustained. You create a 5 space tall, 1 space long fireplace / chimney within range for the duration. The fireplace faces in the direction of your choice, and you choose whether the fireplace or top of the chimney appears at the point of origin of the spell. The fireplace / chimney can go through whatever is in its way. Terrain and parts of a structure that are obstructing it are merged into it for the duration. Anything that cannot be merged into it, and anything inside of it when the spell ends, is moved. Each creature is moved to the nearest unoccupied space of their choice, and each object that is not being held or carried is moved to the nearest unoccupied space of your choice. Inside. The fireplace / chimney is wide enough for a creature of medium size or smaller to fit inside. Climbing while within the fireplace / chimney does not require a climbing check, and creatures that lack a climb speed are not slowed while climbing. Fire. When you cast the spell, or by using a minor action, you can light a fire within the fireplace that can be extinguished by you at any time for free. The fire is 1 space tall, with a length equal to the fireplace. The fire sheds a 5 space cone of bright light in the direction the fireplace is facing, and up into the chimney. Once per turn, when the creature starts their turn in the fire, or enters the fire on their turn, it must make a repeated physical save against your save DC. Save failure. The target begins burning for 1 minute. Durability. The fireplace / chimney has 2 HP, resistance 2 to all damage, and the PD and AD equal to your save DC. The spell ends early if the Fireplace/Chimney is destroyed. Spell enhancements. Range 1 AP, repeatable. The range of the spell increases by 5 spaces. You can use this enhancement a maximum of 2 times. Area 1 MP, repeatable. The length of the Fireplace/Chimney increases by up to 3 spaces, or the height of the chimney increases by up to 5 spaces. Thorough Searing 1 MP. The bright light of the fire causes burning, acting as an extension of the fire. Additionally, creatures of your choice are immune to burning caused by the spell. Warming Fire 1 MP. Creatures of your choice within the bright light of the fire have cold resistance half and resistance to exhaustion from cold temperatures. Okay, that's it. So the main use of this spell is entering places or escaping from places. Good for a heist, as I said. Also light and also wall. There's also like some combat utility, but I feel like the best use of the fire is just stopping people from following you. And it is meant to go through anything. Like let's say you cast the spell, point of origin is on open field, and you choose for the top of the chimney to appear at the point of origin. That would mean that all the dirt and grass and whatever's below it, stone in the way, downwards all the 5 spaces, or more if you enhance it, all of that material in the way is merged into the chimney, and it's just a hollow hole that you can climb down pretty much. Now there might be some limitations, I don't specify any, but like a magical material, maybe you couldn't phase through that, and it has a limitation of 5 spaces at base, so it's not like you can just enter anything, and you have to be above or below too, so. Also, I hope this is obvious, but the intent is that the fireplace and chimney are always connected, and the top of the chimney is always above the fireplace, and the fireplace is always at the bottom. I think the one thing I should have maybe specified that I didn't is just explaining objects burning in the fire, because it does feel kind of odd how like other fire spells say that like objects catch fire and that's like the fire spell passive, but I don't specify that. The intent is that the fire can be used as a fire, so you can like roast marshmallows, you can cook over it, do whatever you want. But if someone catches fire in it, their items don't just burn. So it is kind of like the wording of the other fire spell passives where like something being worn or carried doesn't burn. Although I guess carried, like you can roast food over it. So I didn't specify that because I feel like it made the wording a lot messier and I feel like it wasn't needed, but maybe I should have, I don't know. Also, the entrance size of the fireplace. That's something I really didn't want to specify just because it felt like kind of too crunchy to me. Like really my answer to how big it is just like, it's big enough. If you're a medium-sized creature, you're good. If I had like every single detail I thought might need specified, it would actually just be a whole novel basically. I think this is pushing it as it is. I feel like it's probably at the upper limit of how big a spell should be. So if it did anything beyond this, then it's like, oh no. Also, some of these details would probably be a DC tip if anything. And now the next thing. The Angelborn trait, Be Not Afraid. Meant to parallel Fiendborn a bit. I think it's pretty much the same as you saw before, although it is a reaction now. 1. Be Not Afraid. Once per round, when another creature within 5 spaces that can hear you makes a save to avoid being frightened or intimidated, you can grant them advantage on the save as a reaction for free. Okay, and that was it. It's just simple and kind of flavorful. I like it. Okay, this is the old random stuff, not elemental. Also, here's some incomprehensible notes if you want to read those. But now the Elemental Sorcerer. Elemental Spark. You gain the following benefits. Elemental Origin. Choose one of the following damage types. Cold, corrosion, fire, lightning, or poison. The chosen damage type becomes your sorceress element. Additionally, you gain resistance half to your sorceress element's damage type. Elemental Heightening. When you learn a new spell, you can choose any spell that has the spell tag of your sorceress element's damage type. Additionally, you learn the Heightened Spell Metamagic option. Choose another Metamagic option if you already know it. And Heightened Spell now costs 0 MP to use if used on a spell that has the spell tag of your sorceress element's damage type. Elemental Overload. Once per turn while you're overloaded, when a creature within 10 spaces fails a save you force it to make, you can subject the target to an effect depending on your sorceress element. Cold. The target is slowed for 1 round. Corrosion. The target is hindered for 1 round. Fire. The target begins burning for 1 minute. Lightning. The target is stunned until the start of their turn. Poison. The target is impaired for 1 round. Elemental Appearance. Flavor feature. You gain additional elemental features depending on your sorceress element, such as snow white skin, rusty nails, fiery hair, markings in the shape of lightning, vibrantly colored eyes, or other changes of your choice. If you already have these features, they're enhanced or expanded upon. Additionally, you gain 1 level of language mastery in Elemental. If you're already fluent in Elemental, you gain 1 level of language mastery in another language of your choice. Okay, that was it. So the idea of that subclass is you're focusing around 1 element. When you heighten your spells, you can make make the save harder to resist, which synergizes with Elemental Overload. The effects of Elemental Overload are all based on Chaos Bomb, with the damage type corresponding to a different condition. I think it's all relatively balanced. I'm not sure about the name Elemental Sorcerer. I feel like I could have called it something a bit more creative, but I don't know what that would be. I thought about like Kinetic Sorcerer, because I saw that the Pathfinder elemental class is called Kineticist, I think. And I think it's called that because like pyrokinesis or something, like so like kinetic and kineticist is like moving things. I don't know, Pathfinder has logic to the name, so I could also use that name, but also it feels like a very Pathfinder thing, and I don't know, or maybe I should just call this like elemental sorcery sorcerer or something, but I don't know, the name doesn't matter that much. I don't want to get lost in the details too much more. I'm just going with the obvious name. By the way, if the Elemental Born was a thing, I'd probably have the Elemental Origin be tied to them in some way. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this very appropriate, very Christmassy Sorcerer subclass. Feel free to ask questions if you have any about like my design process or whatever else. Okay, that's it. Bye.